Welcome to the Great Basin Fire and Smoke Transport Briefing for Wednesday, October 15th. Currently across the Great Basin, we have more prescribed fire occurring from Idaho down through Utah and southern Nevada, and no recent large fires. Over the last 7 to 14 days, we've continued to see precipitation around the periphery of the Great Basin, most notably this last week across parts of Idaho into Utah, and then over the last day or so, precipitation moving into the Sierra and western Nevada. Over the last 2 weeks is where we saw the above normal precipitation stretched across northern Nevada into Utah, southern Idaho, and western Wyoming. And in some areas, especially in Utah, we've seen more rainfall in October this year than we have in any October so far, and it's only the middle of the month. So we've definitely had wet conditions across parts of the Great Basin. Over the last 72 hours, the precipitation here on the left, some of the numbers a little bit difficult to see, but we have seen over the last few days reports over a quarter or half inch, as you can see in some of the darker greens, scattered across the Great Basin. And more recently, over the last 24 hours, we've seen anywhere from a half inch to over an inch in parts of western Nevada and the Sierra. This also has brought some new snowfall with lowering snow levels and cooler temperatures. We have seen a new snowfall above 6 to 12 inches in parts of the Sierra along the crest. Not quite as much as you got into the foothills, but we have seen some new snow across central Idaho into Wyoming, as well as central areas of the Great Basin. Looking at our satellite image from this morning, we have a strong area of low pressure, very cold for the time of year, moving across the Great Basin, giving us quite a bit of cloud cover and scattered precipitation across the region. So as we move through today, this low will push east. We will see some drier conditions eventually moving into far western areas of the Great Basin, but really clouds and showers scattered across much of the area, along with some gusty winds out ahead of this area of low pressure. So we will see good dispersion in many areas. And you can see the gusty winds mainly from eastern Nevada across much of Utah today and the Arizona Strip. However, relative humidity will be on the higher side with this moisture in place. Mixing heights will remain moderate to high in most areas and a little bit lower up north. Looking at our temperatures today, we will see much cooler conditions across the Great Basin with most valley highs in the 50s. And in the higher elevations, we will see those highs only reach the 40s. You can see from the relative humidity, we will have elevated humidity across the entire region, even in areas where we see some gusty winds. In Utah and the Arizona Strip, the lowest humidity will be generally in the 25% range. As we move into tomorrow, this area of low pressure tracks further east into the Rockies, still some wraparound moisture into parts of eastern half of the Great Basin for still some scattered showers, but we will see drier conditions over southern and western areas, with still good dispersion region-wide with these breezy northwest to north winds on the backside of the low. Looking at the winds on Thursday, definitely lower wind speeds than what we'll see today, but still breezy enough to keep that dispersion higher, with most gusts in the teens or in the 20s. Still some higher gusts in parts of Idaho or western Wyoming with high mixing heights. Temperatures will start to increase, but still remain below normal, with highs generally in the 50s to around 60 degrees over western areas of the Great Basin and cooler over eastern areas with highs in the 40s and 50s. Relative humidity will still remain high across the region. On Friday, we will see high pressure building into the Great Basin with warmer and drier conditions, but still we will still see some below normal temperatures. Otherwise, general northeast winds will keep dispersion higher over southern areas of the Great Basin, and with lighter winds, we will see poor dispersion over western areas. You can see that in the wind field with those gusty northeast winds in the south, and still some breezy northwest winds in the north. Otherwise, mixing heights will remain low to moderate. Temperatures will start to rebound with highs in the upper 60s now over western areas of the Great Basin by Friday, but still remain cooler over eastern areas. Relative humidity will start to drop across the western and southern half of Nevada, and we will see some areas dropping into the teens. 3-day amounts of precipitation, you can see with this area of low pressure moving across the region, we will see at least light amounts of rainfall in most areas. Some of the higher amounts today will be over western Nevada, and then that will stretch tomorrow mainly across central and eastern areas, where we will see some amounts above a half inch. And this will also come with new snowfall in the higher elevations. As we move through the weekend, we will see high pressure dominating much of the region, but we do have another area of low pressure approaching later in the weekend into next week. So we will see a return of showers and cooler temperatures and gusty winds, especially by Sunday over the northern half of the region. And then on Monday, this area of low pressure swings into the Rockies, so we will see drier conditions least later on Monday. But through Sunday, Monday is really when we'll see this next round of showers. And then by Tuesday, we will have a system moving by across the northern areas, giving us continued clouds and showers for parts of Idaho and Wyoming, but otherwise drier conditions. Looking at the precipitation from Saturday through Sunday, you can see generally lighter amounts of precipitation than what we've seen with the most recent storm system currently moving through, and will generally affect the northern half of the region, with some better chances of accumulating snowfall or higher precipitation in central Idaho. Looking at the early part of next week, Monday and Tuesday, as the system exits, we will see decreasing showers across the region, but still some light precipitation again early in the week. And then the 7-day total precipitation takes into account all of these systems. So again, still some good wetting rains or new snowfall in many areas over the northern half of the region. Looking at the 8 to 14-day outlook from October 22nd through the 28th, generally warmer and drier conditions, but we will see systems periodically move into the Pacific Northwest, giving better chances of any precipitation, or at least precipitation closer to above normal, over parts of northern and northwest areas. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back on Friday for the latest updates.